What's up, y'all? This is Joe Small. I want to showcase a level I've been working on. As you notice, it is an SMB3 mix. So I wanted to make a Kaizo level. It was, let me pull up their name. It was SK Janik. They told me to use NoDice. I never used NoDice before. I heard other people use NoDice, and I was like, I don't have to do something complicated. Actually, it was really simple for me to set up. I'm thinking about making a video, and essentially the great thing about NoDice is that it uses the disassembly, which is a thing I've been really pushing for a long time. Is using the disassembly, as I think it's the step forward. And it actually uses that, so I really wanted to showcase like what you could do if you use the disassembly. So without further ado, I'm going to open up the level. We're going to see immediately. I'm hopefully not going to take too long. I actually did an attempt before this, and I was trying to go for all the star coins, and the star coins were taking me like it took me like an hour to get all the star coins. So I'm not going to go for all the star coins. And I'm not going to go for any fancy strats. There's also a way to like keep a mushroom through this, and I went for that for some reason, and it's really risky because at the end of the level, you can go for that, and I went for it, and I could have like finished at like 30 minutes, which for a first attempt is pretty good. I'm also using save states and this video, as I haven't implemented fast death. I just haven't gotten around to it. So you notice there are quite a lot of custom things. So first off, crumbly blocks, not used by not only the player, but enemies. There are the switches that were used in SMB3 Mix, but they do additional things, such as turning on and off blocks. That was an addition. I copied Orange's code, edited it a little bit, and bada bing bada boom, we got on-off blocks and SMB3 Mix. Also, another thing I did is I added the upside down munchers. That was relatively simple. On the list of changes, that one was a simple one. I made it so you can up throw shells, and I missed the pipe. I didn't make the pipes easier to get into. I think that's just how it's supposed to be played. I also added regrabs. I know Orange actually did that already. I did not copy any of his code though. I used my custom regrabs, and you might not see it, but the way my regrab works is just like it works in S&W, which is you fall slower. So you hold A and you fall slower. And that is actually what I'm using here when I'm doing these like really tight jumps. So like right here. So if I don't use it, that's what happens. So instead I wait, and it works. Now you don't have to, in here especially, if you don't use the regrab, you're going to be in a world of pain, as you would have to like essentially do it perfectly. I try to make it so you don't have to technically. It's just recommended. I also notice I'm not using any of the SMB3 enemies. I really wanted to keep this to the core of what SMB3 is, in my opinion. And to me, you know, what I really like about SMB3 is like its platforming ability. And I think this level does a really great job at capturing its it's platforming. This is all platforming. It's really tight platforming, admittedly, but it is platforming. As you notice, unlike Orange, I actually made it so the shells can come out of their shells, just like the normal game. I felt that was more true to SMB3. Rather than like Super Mario World. I want this to feel very SMB3-ish. I don't want it to feel like just SMB3 if it was Super Mario World. I really want this to feel like it's SMB3. in that way. So, you know, like this has a lot of backtracking that you would really never do in Super Mario World, in my opinion. I forgot about the mushroom. There's very few levels in Super Mario World that like actually do backtracking. And this level is like entirely backtracking. So as you notice, there's a pipe up here that you can't go into, but you could have at the beginning of the level. And that's going to bring us to a magical place. You can actually, if I get this shell jump, I actually show you. Yep, you die. Yep. So we need that power up that we got. Turn back a little too soon there. No worries. I won't be getting all the secrets, so I'm going to leave some secrets out. You're going to have to figure out how to get them yourself. Also, I try to teach the player a lot in this hack, so you'll see I introduce a lot of jumps, and a lot of them repeat themselves, and that is intentional. I really want you to learn how to do some really cool jumps. A little too close there, pipe. When doing those jumps with the bunny suit or the shell jumps. What you got to think about is it's like doing a shell jump in Super Mario World with a cape. And I was never good at those, and I'm not good at these either. But I believe with practice, I should become good at these. And another thing that probably isn't mentioned, but these note blocks, they're bouncy on all sides. So just because I'm magically avoiding all that, it is actually very hard to dodge like all the note blocks nonsense. Like they will push you around. It is very tricky to avoid that. And this was originally a lot harder, but I'm really trying to work on making it as Kaizo, but fair and easy as possible. I don't really want to make it like anything insane, even though I know it is kind of difficult. I will admit that it is not free. Okay, you have a chance to beat the level here. We hit the muncher. So that jump is basically this jump right here, but again. So I really want to emphasize, you know, repetition. I think repetition is a key aspect of level design. You know, I don't want to throw anything like insane. So every jump kind of builds on itself, and you were warned when you did that. So you first did it small, and then you did it big. It is definitely a difficult jump, but you do have to have some difficult jumps at the end. That's basically, after you get past that jump, you basically win. I'm not gonna lie. If I got past that jump, I would have won, and that would have been pretty good. There is another risk you can take though. So I actually went for this in my last video, which was this essentially. I just didn't work out because I really struggled to get all the star points, and I figured it just takes so much longer to do. You can figure out why that is the case, but essentially it just took forever. What? That was unfortunate. I felt like I got that. I think I just was not falling a little. I was falling a little too slow. I should mention, Now this jump here is pretty brutal. This is probably the hardest jump in this segment. It's just so difficult. Because essentially you're on a note block. I would say it's between that and the second variant, but it is definitely difficult. I gotta say, it was very tough getting you know, power-ups into the level and keeping the level design you know, consistent. With the original idea, because I didn't. That's unfortunate. I was trying to readjust and I accidentally jumped. Because typically, when you get a power up, everything kind of changes. That's just kind of the nature of FMV3. So to keep, like, you know, the note blocks going and everything else consistent, it's very difficult in that regard. Okay, so like you see there, you know, you're basically doing the same jumps. It may not look like it, but it is the case. You're doing the same thing you did over here. You're just big. And you can float. So, actually, one of the key things is that you actually have to float fast. So, there's two ways to float. You can float like this, which is how you do it in a normal game. But you can also float fast. So, if you hop over here, you notice you fall faster though, so that's the downside. You fall faster, which is kind of risky, but you get more speed. And speed is key because the Koopa will despawn or will spawn if you're too slow. That muncher is just so difficult to avoid. I do like that I added that extra note block. Originally it was one. It was really brutal. And adding the second one, it's still tough. But now it's fair. It's just more trolly. But it isn't evil. You know the challenge. Everything here is very fair in that regard. You really won't be surprised. There's no Kaizo blocks. There's really nothing of that sort. You get the jump, you just have to do it. I like that a lot better than the like Super Mario World, where there's like these random blocks that like change how sprites move compared to Mario. Everything kind of works the same here. That's just lucky. Yeah, I also try to give you as much like space as needed to like play around with the like different objects and things of the sort, because I know like typically like you just would be thrown into a new space, but you can really actually do every single jump with the bunny suit from that first place you get it. You can play around with it. Obviously you don't have to. It's not a requirement, I don't force you to, but it's pretty safe to go there and play with the bunny suit until you feel comfortable with the remainder of the level. And just small features like that, I really try to make sure that you can actually figure out how you do things. Obviously, some things, it's just kind of impossible to make you learn them, like regrabs. So if you don't use regrabs, your life is just going to be miserable. You know, I'm not going to force you to do it, but it will make it a lot easier if you understand the basic mechanics of regrabs. I have to admit, though, this is definitely a longer segment than the first. Like this one. I think I definitely went a little overkill with the... I might add another checkpoint. I can add multiple checkpoints, so I might make another checkpoint. So if you do it like in one try, you might get the power-up. But if you miss it, you just have to do it again. And I think that might be a little bit more fair because it really does take a while to do everything. I think it takes like a minute to go through this segment. That's not including the like bonus items like the star coin. That adds like another 30 seconds. So this level is pretty long. Okay, there we go. No! I stubbed my toe. That is awful. That's really unfortunate. So what happened is I accidentally yeah, so I accidentally stubbed my toe because I did a big jump on one of them. You don't want to do a big jump there. I was surprised I even lived. You really just want to do 3 small jumps and you just beat the level. But I forgot about that, and you won't die, it just makes it more complicated. So I was on the left, I was more left than normal, which made it so you could actually stub your toe, which is not fun. Another thing I wanted to mention is, let me see if I can do it. It's kind of tricky. This is, originally I was trying to get, there's a way to actually keep the shell alive. It was just insanely difficult. Okay, I can't get it. And that's the main reason why I removed it. It just was like insane to get it. I did all types of practice for it, and it just would not work. Same thing as like jumping on the Koopa mid-air. So I just went with what we already did. And just repeat, you know, a few more jumps. I think that's good. Otherwise, it would just be a bit. I don't want to add too many. I don't want to make it too complicated. For like the first level, is what this is mainly just trying to be. It's just trying to teach you like the main mechanics of the game, so you know, on and off blocks, regrabs, shells, crumbly blocks, you know, just basic stuff. It's not supposed to, you know, be anything amazing yet. Yeah, that's what I was trying to show you. You can keep a shell. That's really annoying now, if that does happen, but it's a lot harder to do than you think. It just happens by accident occasionally, and if you keep the shell, you can't cheese with it, I don't think, unless you're like a task, in which you can like double shell jump or something insane. But shells are a lot less useless, are a lot more useless in SMB3 compared to like Super Mario World, due to just the nature that they respawn. So you can't do as many task tricks as you would like. Now, if it was the leaf, yes, but that's why I made this bunny. Why? I missed the note block input. It happens. It's really annoying when it does happen like that. Pretty good at getting the note block inputs, though. Yes, do we have another go? Oh. Note block got us. We're not that bad on time though. Considering that we got to like the end like 3 or 4 times. Just that this is a long level, as I mentioned. It just takes forever. And it's just because the nature of SM3, I mean, SM3 has deceptively long levels, in my opinion. You know, that they are short, but they're really not when you think about them. Like the undead, or the like empty fortress, like that. You know, when you first play through that, I would take like a minute, like a couple minutes to figure out, because it's a puzzle. This is kind of like a puzzle too, in this aspect that I give you items, and you have to figure out how to use them. Right? You go from one side of the stage to the other, so you can go back. Deja vu. And I kind of like that like aspect of like puzzling. I kind of did that in the first bit, but I didn't really do anything too complicated. As I just want to introduce you to the concepts. And this one is like, really, it's supposed to, really emphasize like all the skills you learned, and introduce you how they can be modified. So like power-ups, so on. I also have a cool idea for the toad houses. So instead of just rewarding you like a power up or whatever, or like or something of that sort, I think I want to make it like a challenge room, so you can like go double or nothing. So you can get like a basic mushroom for free, or you can maybe even get a cloud if you do like an insane challenge. Yeah, save that. Okay, there we go. Let's go. So, as you saw, you could have jumped on a mush or another note block, and you could have actually kept your power up. That's all I had for that level. Let me see. I was thinking if I had a debug one. Actually, let me disable performance mode, and I'm gonna try to view this in terms of the actual NoDice editor. So I have to change screens. A little bit. Where's NoDice? Did NoDice not show up? Why is NoDice? Oh, there it is. It was just taking its sweet time. Okay. So let me showcase what this level looks like in the ROM itself. Okay. Oh, my mouse is working. Cool. Let me go to Streamlabs. So I think it's programming. Yeah, there we go. So as you see, this is what NoDice looks like. As you see, my well, it was pretty complex in terms of like what a normal level looks like. You know, there are definitely some setups, to say the least. You know, there's like a bunch of enemies in the sky. As you notice, the Koopa that's like here isn't there. That's because if I go to the view and I go to like 100%, you see there's Koopas down here. So this is what I was talking about with regard to the whenever you have enemy, you can actually use their Y position, their high Y position, to make them have different like statuses. So if you start at, that's not what I want to do, 200%. Yeah, so enemies at the first wide position will be shelled. If they're at the second one, they will act normal. And that's what I have going on here. Most of this is just, so here's the end. So this is what I was talking about. So we have this note block here. So you can actually make this jump. This jump is pretty tough. And that's why I put it at the end. So you can go, essentially you can redo the level. And I'm debating putting like a checkpoint at like this note block here, or like somewhere here where you could repeat it. My only concern with that is you couldn't do that multiple times, so you couldn't go for that. Yeah, so if you go for this jump, Mario would hop, go around, not get bumped by him, and then hop onto the flagpole. That's a possibility. It's very difficult. I actually did it once, but it's very risky. Because if you die here, you have to go back a minute. Or you can just hop to safety. And as I mentioned, there's no Kaiser blocks, no funny business, so you're good to go. You can really just hop to the end. There's nothing stopping you. And then let me go to the other level. So this is how you transverse levels. This one is very small. So this is that side, and then that's it. It is really, really small. So I'm gonna hop on the note blocks. Let me show the objects. So this one, it's all just shells essentially. Yeah, there's 4 shells. That's it. 4 enemies. A lot of objects, to be fair, but it's really simple. And what actually, there's 5 objects. I guess there is that nipper there, and this 1A, which is the checkpoint. And there's nothing else. Well, I guess there are enemies. I might delete those enemies later. But this is it in terms of the level. So let me know what you guys think about this. Tell me if you want to see a NoDice tutorial. And give me some feedback on the level. Or if you want to play test the level, let me know. And with that, Stay awesome, be awesome. See you guys next time.